What's up, y'all? Come on in. Hello, 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 hello. Hello, everybody. I'm gonna give y'all a couple of minutes to get in here. What's up, y'all? I'm gonna give everybody a couple of minutes to come in, um, so that we could talk about these jury instructions. Who, y'all? It's a lot going on. It's a lot going on. Shout out to everybody that's tuning in on tonight. I know it is late. Come on in. I want y'all to get this information. Let me know where you're watching from. Can y'all see me good? Oh my gosh, this looks terrible. Hold on, y'all. Let me see. Well, that got me looking. Oh no. Okay, let me see. All right. Hey, what's up? Um, okay, so I'm gonna give y'all a couple more minutes to come in and then I'm gonna get started. Um, okay, so let me just say this. Let me just say this. Y'all, today has been one of those days. Shout out to everybody that's tuning in. Make sure you thumbs up the video, share. So listen, so y'all know me. I deal with very simplistic stuff, get straight to the point, all that line and stuff. I'm just not with that. A lot of stuff went down at the courthouse today. Some bloggers, content creators were called out. The government, somehow, people who are I will get into that. We'll get into that. We're trying to make it through the week. Amen. Everybody's trying to make it through the week, but y'all, it is a lot going on. So let me just kind of tell y'all about today. So today, I believe there was 100 pages of jury instructions, and the judge said that he had over 200 objections. Okay, it seems like that they got through them today. Court was adjourned just at 8 o'clock. Now, mind you, I just want to correct myself from my earlier reporting today. Actually, court was supposed to start at 10 a.m. today. It didn't. It went to then they pushed it to 12. Then they pushed it to 2. Then they pushed it to 3. Then they pushed it to 3:45, and they finally got in there. And Diddy's team got a lot of wins. They won more than the prosecutors did. And I want to talk a little bit about that on tonight. Y'all know. Hey, what's up, Wallace? It's a lot going on. You know, I'm tired, having to get up early. I'm not a morning person. I am not a morning person. But y'all, court was it was long as hell today. A lot of press and people left earlier because we just couldn't do it no more. We was like, you know what? Listen. And they were going super fast. You barely could keep up and take notes. So um it's just a lot. So let me just let y'all know that when the judge came out, like I told y'all earlier, hey, what's up? When the judge came out, let me put y'all comments up here. When the judge came out, the judge basically was like, yo, I never seen so many people inside this courtroom for a charge conference. Remember, I told y'all that the court was really, really packed. Now, the defense got a lot of wins. Like I said, they got a lot of wins. Now, let's talk about the first one. The first issue that was brought up was the RICO knowledge language, okay? And what happened was, or what the issue is that the government argued that a person only needs to agree to two predicate acts in a RICO conspiracy and doesn't need to know the full scope. Okay. Um, Combs attorney Shapiro had argued that oversimplified the law and misrepresented their Rule 29 motion that they had filed on yesterday. Okay, now if you don't know anything about that, go back and go do your research because we ain't going through all that tonight. All right, this case is coming to a closed jury. Closing argument starts tomorrow. Okay, and they brought up the fact that their Rule 29 was misrepresented. Especially regarding defendant Corum's knowledge of the alleged hotel room. So the judge did side with the defense and clarified the jury instructions with legal citations. The judge said that the complexity of RICO and said that the language that the government had put in there could be confusing and misleading to the jury. And I honestly think that they're going to be confused anyway. Okay. Now, We're gonna go to number two. The other part, and I just got all of the most important things that I think the people should know about. Okay. Um, Number two is the core of enterprise language. Okay, the government wanted jury instructions to allow flexibility that this core of the enterprise then need to remain the same over time, meaning that it don't have to be the same people. Like multiple people can come in and get fired and get hired and come in and do this and do that. Um, and so the government is saying that just because new people are here, that doesn't change, the facts or whatever. But the defense had argued that this also could mislead jurors into thinking any shift in inner circle still satisfied the criminal enterprise requirement. Okay. Now, the judge rejected the government's language in this, warning them that it was legally inconsistent and it could confuse the jury. So that is the second win for the defense. Okay. And why the defense won was because the judge had favored clarity and consistency with the Supreme Court case, the Boyle case. Okay. The third one we're going to go to is the awareness of substantial acts. Okay. The defense pushed to add that each conspirator must be aware of each substantial racketeering offense. Okay. The judge said, while he didn't add the exact, because a lot of these instructions, the defense wanted stuff added in, like certain type of words and sentences and language, and then the prosecution wanted the same thing. But for this one right here, the judge basically said that he wasn't adding any type of sentence that says each conspirator must be aware of the substantial racketeering offenses. And this is what really got me. Um, there was an argument by the government that the people don't have to agree or know that what they are doing is a RICO. I'm sorry. Let me back up. 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 They don't have to know that what they are doing is a RICO in order for it to be a RICO. You get what I'm saying? Like they basically saying that they don't have to uh say, hey, this is what we're gonna do for it to be a RICO. You get what I'm saying? Which sounded real, real stupid. Hey y'all, thank y'all so much for tuning in. I'm running through this today. Hold on, y'all. Okay. I'm running through this. So and I mean I definitely agree with the defense that each conspirator must be aware of what they are doing. Like how you gonna charge somebody with RICO and they are not even like I don't know. It's just really it's really crazy. It's really crazy. It's like it didn't even make any sense to me if you ask me. I'm gonna get you the correct verbiage in a minute. So, anyways, the judge did not grant the language change, but did give the defense leeway in closing, said that they can bring it up in the closing arguments. Okay. Number four, victim must intend to report to federal law enforcement. Now, the prosecution said they didn't need to show that the victim intended to contact federal law enforcement, but the defense argued that that's a key element under the statute. Okay. There must be a federal nexus, meaning that, the victim needed to contact the police. So the judge had agreed with the defense interpretation of the statute. The judge sided with the president requiring more than just a general threat or intimidation. Okay. Now, when the jury get this stuff, they're going to be confused. I'm just going to let y'all know. They're going to be very, very confused. Um, you know because like when you get hit with a RICO, right? Y'all, I'm so tired. I'm bear with me. When you get hit with a RICO, I mean, if the people don't have to conspire to be charged with RICO, then how is that RICO? You understand what I'm saying? Like, where's the conspiracy in it all? And that was one of the points that the prosecution was trying to bring up and make, and it didn't sound right. Like, huh? So we could get charged with RICO and we didn't conspire, we didn't plan any of this, and most of them didn't even know what was going on. Okay. So the defense won that one. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. So well, 1, 2, 3. So right now they had 3 wins. Okay. Now then the government withdraws an obstruction charge. Okay. So another charge has been withdrawn from the case, dropped. Okay, that's an obstructions charge. The government announced it was dropping this charge. The defense said they had no objection to that. They was excited about that, and the judge removed the charge, and the defense won that one as well. Okay. Now, the language on commercial sex acts triggering 15-year minimum. Now, I also want to tell y'all that they brought up the prosecution is trying to use R. Kelly stuff. We're gonna get to that in a minute. Okay, so the government's proposed instruction relied on to wit clauses implying mandatory minimums for sex trafficking, whether or not a sex act occurred. So the defense had argued that this language was a constructive amendment to the indictment and it properly broadened the charges. Okay, I know y'all don't understand this stuff that's going on, right? But the judge did agree with the paragraph that it was too argumentative and they removed it. Okay, the judge did remove a lot of stuff that the defense is bringing up. Excuse me, that the government is bringing up. Okay, um, let me see. Okay, the next one was the removal of paragraph on freak offs and consent. Okay, the government tried to downplay initial consent from Cassie and James, suggesting that it could still lead to sex trafficking. And that's what I don't understand. They keep on trying to say that just because she consented doesn't mean she consented later, or just because she consented doesn't mean that she was in agreement with any of this or that she wasn't sex trafficked. Okay, so the defense had asked the judge to delete the language because they felt that it was inflammatory and it was biased. And the judge deleted the paragraph. Okay, he agreed that the language could prejudice the jury, and it didn't belong in the jury instructions. So removal of the paragraph on freak offs and consent. Okay, and I'll have a full breakdown on this for y'all tomorrow. We're gonna go through all of this again so I can, take to have time to go through everything in the transcript so I can, kind of read to y'all verbatim what was said. But this tonight, I just had to make something quick for y'all because it's getting late and tomorrow closing arguments are happening. And, you have to be at court early to actually try to get inside the courtroom. Okay. Um, so the defense won that. Now the defense also asked the judge if they could lowercase government, the word government, because government was capitalized, okay? And the defense feels like that government being capitalized, you know, or or not being capitalized, because if it is, it would cause bias and it would cause formality. So the judge did agree with that, and the judge um, put. Uh, hold on, y'all. Let me get my notes together. We're not okay. Judge will agree to glow. Okay, so the judge did, tell them to lowercase that. So the defense got that. Now we get down to sex acts, okay, as labor, forced labor charge. Now listen to this. The prosecutors argued that sex acts, okay, should count as labor under the forced labor statute, okay? The defense claimed that this was a stretch, especially when the alleged victims weren't vulnerable, okay? Now the judge in his ruling cited the R. Kelly case. Okay. He cited the R. Kelly precedent and he allowed the argument. So the judge ruled that the legal threshold was met under existing case law that sex acts counts as forced labor. Okay. And one of the things that attorney Miss Shapiro, let me just tell you something. Everybody's on Diddy's legal team is a beast, especially Nicole and Mr. Brian Steele from Atlanta. They are beast. Okay. Um, hold on, y'all. So basically, they trying to say that it's forced labor. Um, and Miss Shapiro was she made a lot of sense. She told the judge that she didn't believe that it was forced labor for the simple fact that these weren't immigrants and these weren't people who was coming over here being forced to work, in order to get housing and stuff like that. That these people were willing participants, okay? That these people were, people who weren't vulnerable. You get what I'm saying? Like, and I agree with that. Normally, when you think about sex trafficking, y'all, you think about how those people be human trafficking and sex trafficking. They go across seas or they go get these legal immigrants and they bring them back over here and they pimp them out. You understand? That's like forced sex labors. You know what? Forced labor. Like if you want to make money, you got to do this. You know what I'm saying? And I agree that, it was just weird that they said that sex acts count as forced labor. Okay. Um, okay, so the prosecution also clarified, well, they wanted to clarify that a person traveling for sex didn't have to be a commercial sex worker. Okay. The defense objected, saying those words weren't in the statute, and the judge allowed the government's language to come in anyway. Okay. Um, the government also wanted the removal of lengthy implicit bias language. Okay, they argued that the lengthy language on bias could backfire and create tension among jurors, so the judge shortened it. Um and so Mr. Agnifilo, um him and the I guess the process, whoever over there gonna do the closing arguments, they weren't in court today. Everybody was looking for um Sean's attorney, but they were at home practicing for closing arguments today. He was Mr. Agnifilo. I be saying his name wrong. They be having some weird names. But anyways, he wasn't in court today, and so wasn't the lead prosecutor. Now, these are all white women. This is an all white prosecution, okay? And you know, um, I mean, so let me tell y'all how this gonna work. Now, personally, I think the judge likes Diddy. Now, that's just my opinion. I think the judge is very fair, and to an extent. And I'm gonna tell you how he is really, 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 really fair, right? So remember, the defense and the prosecution gets 4 hours each for closing arguments, right? 4 hours each. Are y'all confused? Because I'm telling you, people walking out the courtroom, you couldn't keep taking notes. They were going real, real fast, and we was in there from what 3:45 to 8 o'clock. Just imagine taking notes from 3:45 to 8 o'clock. It was just a lot. That's why we thank God for the transcript. Okay, but check this out. So remember, closing argument starts tomorrow. Now check this out. So the defense, Mr. Agnifilo, he wants to do his closing argument on Friday. And he said it won't even take him more than 3 hours to do the closing argument. Watch this, right? So the prosecution, okay, the prosecution objected to it and was crying about, well, judge, that's going to leave us a partial day. That's going to leave us a partial day. We do 4 hours and then we go home. That's a waste of the jury's time, right? And they also said that they also called Mr. Agnifilo move gamesmanship. The prosecution called it gamesmanship and said that they were going to be able to have more time to come up with a closing based off, what their closing is going to be. And guess what? The judge said, Mr. Agnifilo, you can do your closing on Friday. I said, what? The government was heated, okay? So, and so they will have an hour to rebuttal the defense. So the judge is going to allow Mr. Agnifilo to come Friday to give his, and that's crazy though, because they really supposed to do it on tomorrow, and the judge got to give charge to jury, and they get the case. But instead, the prosecution gonna do their closing tomorrow, and Mr. Agnifilo is gonna do his on Friday. I said, oh my gosh, and I was like, what? And let me tell y'all something. This is what it's all gonna come down to: the closing arguments, because jurors have taken notes, right? But they need the closing arguments so that they could remember what was said. You know how you take notes and then, you can listen to somebody talking about the case, and you look at your notes and you kind of remember what was said or whatever. This is important, okay? This is very important because this is what's going to change the game. Tomorrow is about to change the game. Now, personally, based off what I told y'all, and I'll give y'all more about what happened. So I'm gonna be pushing out a lot of updates. I'll give you more about this, about what was said verbatim to kind of read to you some of the argument. But tomorrow is a game changer, and it all boils down to the closing arguments. And let me just say, all this stuff that the prosecution and defense is putting in this doesn't necessarily mean that the jury has to go along with it. Like they can look at something and be like, I don't believe that. You get what I'm saying? Beyond a reasonable doubt, there's a lot of doubt, okay, that these women were forced, coerced, okay, because there's proof that they wanted. And listen, even Cassie and Jane testified that their first freak off was because they wanted to make their partner happy. Does that sound like forced coercion? Don't you make your spouse happy when you cook dinner for him? He comes home, you cook dinner for him, right? Don't you make your spouse happy or your partner happy by having respect? Don't you make your spouse like, why are we trying to criminalize making our spouses or our partners happy now? Like what? I don't know. But um let me say this. There's a big problem that's going on down. Oh yes, Mr. Adnafilo. Yeah, you need to do your research on him. That man is a beast. He's a beast. He's a bulldog. He's a bulldog. I think he's gonna get Diddy off. Because let me say this. People that sit online and say Diddy did this, you don't really know that. That's what you assume. And even with, and let me say this, a lot of misinformation is being passed out because there's a lot of bloggers and stuff on YouTube that's just, and I'm gonna talk about that in a few moments. I'm not gonna go fully into it, but I'll talk about it a little bit. But anyways, a lot of media is upset and mad because there is a permanent list of individuals. There's a permanent list of individuals who are on a list to get inside the courtroom every day without having to be considered first come, first serve. Okay. Now, constitutionally and based off federal law, the law says that the courtroom has to be open up to the public, but they cry and say, "Oh, it's a safety hazard," but you haven't even reached the capacity. It only becomes a safety problem or a fire code violation when you go over the max, right? How you going to build something and say 500 people can fit in here, but you only let 25 in here talking about it's this and that? Hey, what's up, Miss Infamous Sylvia? Hey, Miss Infamous, Miss Sylvia, you want to come on? So, and you left your cup too. I forgot to call you and tell you. I didn't know if you was asleep or not. But I missed. Well, it's not a verdict. It's not a verdict. But the main problem is it is a couple of, well, it's two individuals who are on YouTube, and every day Tisa Tell lies and Trent from Canada. These people get on social media every day and they lie on Diddy. They really do, especially Tisa Tells. She gets up there and she lies her ass off. And Trent does too. And so somehow Tisa Tells is able to go inside the, now mind you, as real journalists with ABC News, the North Carolina Beat, all of these. Okay, yeah. Let me send you the link, Miss Sylvia. Hold on, y'all. Let me send Miss Sylvia this link. Um, hold on, y'all. Okay, Miss Sylvia, I sent you the link. So, anyways, Um, we all be sitting in the line. We get there early. I have had to get up at 3:30 in the morning to go down there to stand in line from 5 to 8, 8:30 or whatever, to go inside the courtroom. But these individuals who constantly bash Diddy and come outside of the courtroom and lie on him is able to just go anywhere in the courthouse. They get to skip the line. We have to even like ABC, like real journalists who are with real other networks, like we have to stay in the line. We have to wait until we're called to go up to the courtroom. But Tisa tells and they get to just do what they want to do in the courthouse. And I was like, are they getting paid? Like, is the prosecution, like what? Like, what's going on? And when you're dealing with people, they'll tell you to throw a little salt on my name to make it not seem suspicious. But it's she has come out of the courtroom even when Diddy stood up and told the judge that he was having a good day. She came out and she said that that Diddy was cosplaying. How is that cosplaying? I mean, Diddy is not having a bad day. This trial is going in Diddy's favor, just like it was going in Young Thug. you know Hold on, let me see. Miss Sylvia.
Yes.
Wait, hey, Miss Sylvia.
Hey, I can't show myself because I have my pajamas on.
Oh no, you fine, you fine, you fine. So I was just basically I was just basically telling them how stuff has been going on, like with the content creators, down at the trial or whatever. And but anyways, I'm gonna talk about that a little later. What do you, Miss Sylvia, like in your honest opinion? Miss Sylvia, let me tell y'all something. Miss Sylvia has been in New York before the trial even started. She has been there every day. She told me tonight she had missed one day because she wasn't feeling well, but she has been there every day. And let me tell you, Miss Sylvia is on that permanent list, and she deserves to be on that list because she has been there every day. There's nobody that has. It may be a couple of people that have been there every day, like she has, but she's been there every day. But these other people, they have not. And it's like they just get to do what they want to do. It's like, dang, what is really, really going on? So, Miss Sylvia, what do you think about the case so far? How do you think it's going? Do you think the prosecution is winning, or do you think the defense is winning?
I believe the defense is winning.
Yeah, me too. Tell me why you think that.
Because there's a lot of things that um the judge ruling, especially today
Hmm.
with the verbiage and the charges, majority of them was in the favor of the defense.
Right.
And
Yeah.
then I feel that um, even though there was some stuff that went against them, they
Hmm.
still had some sort of like higher leverage than the state did.
Right.
And
Yeah.
at the judge, I don't know. It just seems a little bit different. Before I was like, that's a prosecution judge. That's a prosecution judge.
Hmm.
Till today, when I
Hmm.
saw him giving all those rulings, I was like,
Hmm.
giving an account like, ooh, two for defense, three,
Right.
one for prosecution, and at
Hmm.
the end, it was way more he gave to the defense. And then the last part where he said Agafino could do
On Friday.
the closing
Yes, on
on
Friday. I was just telling.
Friday.
I was
I
just
was
telling
like,
them that.
what? That
Yeah.
is deep.
Hmm. And the
So
judge was like, they are filing an application for it, and I just granted it. And I'm like, oh my gosh. Like,
yes.
he was like, because I don't think I ever heard of that. Normally, judges be like, no, you're gonna do it the same day, and then you can do your rebuttal tomorrow or whatever. But he said that Nafilo can come in tomorrow, I mean Friday, and do it.
And that's gonna leave them with a lasting impression because whoever
Hmm.
goes last and the juror is gonna remember it more.
Yeah, 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 absolutely. And that's the only thing I hate about, like, when closing arguments, that the state, all with the government or the state, always have the opportunity to come back and rebuttal, but the defense can't come back and rebuttal. And it's like it's just crazy. They get one shot, and I think Mr. Adnafilo gonna give it his best. So, do you think these women were coerced and trafficked and all of this stuff, Miss Sylvia?
Um, coerce? No,
Yeah.
not coerced, but I do believe that Diddy do hold some sort of like terrible characteristics
Mm-hmm.
that he didn't treat them nicely
Right.
all the
Yeah.
time.
Mm-hmm.
But that's
Hey,
more
April.
of a human, flaw.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But as
Yeah.
far as criminal,
Mm-hmm.
no. I know people say, "Oh, but sorry."
You good?
My my
You
other
good?
phone was going off. But as far my thing is, I think that the women should be charged too because they were doing the freak off and setting it up and
Mm-hmm.
things like that. So I
Yep.
think they deserve equal punishment that
Yeah.
he gets.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
as far as the domestic violence, definitely he deserved that because
Yeah.
battery and stuff like that, he definitely deserved that because he's not a
Mm-hmm.
nice boyfriend. Period.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's a fact. So, somebody said, "Do he look like how people is drawing him?" I think Diddy looks like in the face. He looks a little like old to me. That's just my opinion from what I can see. I mean, he still looks like Diddy, but it's just I don't know. Maybe it's the gray hair. What you think?
I think he does look a little older. I mean
Yeah.
he is older. He just kept on dyeing his hair,
Yeah, he kept dying.
but the pictures don't look as he doesn't look as bad as those pictures. Those pictures don't
Yeah.
look like him to me. It don't.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just I don't know. I don't know. So,
But you
I
know what
mean,
I do like about him? I haven't seen him come in looking having a bad day.
yeah. He was
He's
happy
always
today. He came in waving and smiling and
he smiled at a couple of us and he waved
hmm
and and he seemed very upbeat, very positive.
hmm
And also, listen, I saw he was reading a book, right? And
hmm
the book was called Positive Thinking or something like that.
hmm
And then he had another book today, and it had a whole bunch of hearts in the book. It looked like somebody must have drew some hearts for him.
hmm
So,
Wow, yeah. Yeah, he definitely like he sits in the courtroom, he pays attention to the case, he be over there helping writing with his lawyers, passing notes and defending himself as a defendant, he has that right to do all of that. And so I was giving him a little overview of what happened in court today as far as the jury instructions, but I was telling them that it was going so fast, like they were going so fast, you can't really take notes, and it was just a lot.
and some
Did
of us were sleeping.
you, I didn't want to bring that up like this. Listen, y'all, I'm in there nodding. I'm in there nodding. I'm trying not to like make it seem like I'm sleepy, but I was tired. We was listen. I'm talking about we was it was people knocked out. They was knocked out. But it was overall a good day. I kind of went outside a little bit earlier to kind of stretch. And then Miss Sylvia came out, and they were
Oh, did
still
you
in
tell me
court.
your action outside?
No, I ain't telling that. I'm gonna just wait till the viral. I'm gonna listen. I'm gonna just wait until the video go viral. I ain't telling that. So let me say it. Let me go. And say, if y'all see a video going around me cussing out some homeless person, do not, y'all know me, okay?
Don't
But
judge him. Don't judge
don't
him.
judge me, okay? God's still working with me. Wait, what Steve Harvey say? Don't trip. God ain't finished with me or something like that. But this girl got mad because she had asked me for $3 this morning, and I don't carry cash like that, right? So I told her I only have a card, okay? So I guess she felt some type of weight on that. Miss Sylvia was trying to find something for her to give her, but she didn't have anything. And then all of a sudden another guy was out there, and all of a sudden she was like, "Man, why you have me coming over here?" Well, she said he owed her $1 or told her he was gonna give her $1 or something.
Yeah, but he
Yeah.
said he hadn't even. Cause I even asked him. I said, "You promised her money?" He says, "No, I don't know what you're talking about."
Yeah, she just crazy. So she had first got into it big with Deny, but everybody say that she get into it with everybody out there. But today I lay her out, okay? Just lay her straight up out. But this is the thing that she does. Like me, I'm not a nitpicker. Like I'm gonna say my stuff and I'm gonna move away from you if I'm the one that's starting it. You get what I'm saying? But I'm sitting down trying to do content, trying to pull up stories from North Carolina, just trying to work on this stuff and get my blog ready because this weekend I'm gonna be dropping a lot of stories and stuff. And she's standing in front of me talking at me. Like she did it earlier this morning, and I had to get her together. And then she did it this evening. But this evening, she didn't come at me like she first did earlier in the day. She was just basically minding her business. I was minding my business. And to deny as had brought her the fact that, she needed to leave him alone. And she was saying that me and him can get smoke. And I'm like, bitch, what smoke you talk about? Who are you? And she started calling me names and just going off, and I laid her ass out. This the same lady that we saw taking a bath out of the little water fountain that's outside. Once she taking a bath out the water fountain, I mean, it's like, and y'all, I don't bother people. Miss Silver, I wasn't. I have been on my best behavior, but everybody keeps telling me, to try to ignore her. But I'm gonna ignore her tomorrow. But when you standing in front of me and you talking at me and I'm ignoring you, it's like get out my face. So then when I left, thank you, Amber. Amber said I seen it. Thank you so much, Amber. Then when we was leaving, she was still um talking to me. I'm all the way up the street. She's still talking to me. And I laid her out. Y'all already know how I roast. I laid her out. So I know tomorrow she won't say nothing to me. She will see me. Because every time I'm going to light her up. But I'm trying to take Miss Sylvia advice. Ignore her. Because she called you out your name, Miss Sylvia.
She called me a bitch.
Yeah, she called Miss Sylvia a bitch. Like she just come down there. And to me, it's like, it's other places in New York that you can go hang out at. Why are you coming down here to the Shun? They try to say I wasn't black. She called me a simp. I'm like, ma'am, it's all y'all. I'm sure it's all over the internet. Y'all gonna catch the viral clip. And you see this battery pack right here. If she come close, she gonna get bust upside the head. So, Amber said, oh yeah, you lit her up. Like, listen, like go away. Okay. But anyways, Miss Sylvia, anything else you want to say? Because I am tired. I'm about to go to bed.
Oh, you go to bed already?
Yeah, I'm gonna shoot you a text after this. But I am tired. It has been a long day, y'all. It's been hot.
Did you
Um,
talk about the part where they referenced R. Kelly's case?
you breaking up, Miss Sylvia.
I know, I hear you breaking up too.
Ah man. You said did I tell them about the part?
Where they reference R. Kelly's case as a reference.
Yes, 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 yes. With the forced sex labor.
Yeah.
The government, yeah, I told them that the government was trying to use R. Kelly's case for and the judge allowed it in, for the forced sex labor, basically saying that sex acts are forced labor. But I don't think that that was forced labor. Do you think that was forced labor?
With theirs. I thought he said that. I thought he went against the prosecutor on that part. The first part he said yes.
On the forced labor? Uh-uh. Hold on. You breaking up, Miss Sylvia. Bad.
Hello.
You said I'm breaking up too. Hold on.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Hello.
Yeah, can you hear me? Miss Sylvia. I think Miss Sylvia going out. Hold on, y'all. Let me see. Um, okay. Um, let me go back through this thing real quick. Um, Miss Sylvia step her phone breaking up. Hold on, y'all. Let me just go back and verify this real quick. Um, hold on, y'all. Hold on. Let me see. Hold on, y'all. I gotta pull this up because I just want to make sure. Babe, I laid her out. Listen, I laid her out. Okay, hold on. Listen, I'm just saying, like, go away, lady. You up here messing with everybody. Listen, she is over there just lying on that man. And these are the people that they call journalists. I'm just, you know, I'm a little bit stunned. Hold on, y'all. I got to find this now. Gosh. Well, anyway, I'll find it later. But if I can remember, I think the civil said that they didn't. The judge ruled against it. But from what I can remember, he allowed it in. Wait. Matter of fact, hold on. I can't even pull it up. Hold on. Let me pull it up. Give me a minute. All right, let me see. So y'all, we're gonna be live a lot tomorrow. Um, Hold on, let me pull this up. Give me one moment, y'all. Let me get this. Okay. Let me do this real quick. Forced labor. Okay, so the prosecution said on the forced labor, the government will be arguing that certain sex acts can be labor. We will be building off the R. Kelly case. The defense argues that the victims are well off, so we need to make this clear to the jury. Shapiro said, "We object. We are not arguing that sexual acts cannot be labor, rather that the victims here were not particularly vulnerable, like from other countries without immigration status." Prosecution says in R. Kelly, the Second Circuit says sexual labor falls within the statute. Judge said, I overruled the government's objection. Um, Hold on. It's on the forced labor. Okay. The defense argued that the victims fell out, so we need to make this clear to the jury. We object. Combs Spear, we're not arguing that sexual acts cannot be labor rather than the victims here. We're not putting other country and R. Kelly. I don't know. I think he jumped over. I got to look at the transcript, y'all. Uh, so the judge says, I overruled the government's action. The prosecutor said, in closing, we will be making this argument. The judge said, absolutely, sexual services can count as labor under the statute. So the judge is going to allow them to argue that. Just to move this along because it's getting late, I will add the reference to forced labor statute. On the other, I'm including a mens rea requirement in light of the vagueness challenge. Combs Shapiro said, we think that's insufficient. The judge said the government is going to argue full throttledly that there was knowledge of mens rea. This offense was not an initial indictment. We're not required to object to the U.S. request of the charge. So they're going to be arguing to the jury that, that sexual services count as, labor, forced labor under the statute. It's just a lot going on, y'all. It's a lot. Okay. I was watching her when the trial first started. Hold on. Let me read what this says. I was watching her when the trial first started, and I had to stop because she was too biased. And I'm like, ain't no way did it having a bad day in court every day with them $1 million lawyers. Listen, like I even read some of the prosecution wins. You get what I'm saying? Like you can still you can have your opinions and stuff, and you can still be fair and report honestly. I just feel like that it's all for clickbait. It's all, and you know what I'm saying? That's all it is. It's just really sad. And I hope they better hope Diddy don't, they better be praying that Diddy don't lose this. I mean that Diddy they better be praying that Diddy don't lose this, that Diddy gets convicted, okay, or that Diddy don't win this case. Because if he wins this case, y'all better be running for the hills because I'm sure he's gonna come after y'all financially for all the lies that y'all over there telling. And all you got to do is how we all in the same courtroom, but we all coming out telling this the different lies. You get what I'm saying? Some of the times when I be doing my lives and I get off live, I'll go watch somebody else live, and I'll be hearing them bringing up exactly what I just said because that's what we saw in the courtroom. You know what I'm saying? Like that's everything that happened in the courtroom. But I don't know what it is with people coming out of the courtroom and lying and then being able to go up in the court and just do what they want to do. Like it makes you think like, are you getting this special privilege because you going hard on Diddy so much? How is that you get this special privilege but other people don't? You get what I'm saying? Like a lot of people who has been here from day one didn't even get a permanent spot because they got this. It's just, you know what I'm saying? It's, I don't know. It's just very awkward and weird if you ask me. Yeah, I'm about to get some rest. I'm about to get off, y'all. Okay, let me see. Gerald, go get you. Yeah. Hey, Gerald, that sounds crazy. That's what, yeah, I mean, that's that. Listen, that's what Miss Shapiro was telling the judge, but he's still gonna let them argue it in front of the jury. So love you, Gerald. I love y'all too. All right, y'all. I'm gone. Good night. At this point, I think he is, and a lot of people gonna be in trouble. Yeah. Because today I found out that his team be over there watching videos, all the TikTok videos, all the YouTube videos, every video and stuff. They have a whole PR company that's over there watching all that stuff. Okay. Um, sets for money should count as labor. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, if you paying for butt and peen peen, is that forced labor? I mean, anything that you work for is labor, but it's not forced labor. You get what I'm saying? I mean, there's a difference. You go to work every day and you working, right? What's that labor? So I mean, at the end of the day, you know, I just feel like that, their case is sad. So, but they said Busby has 3 lawsuits in LA waiting on Diddy and Justin. Have you heard that? No, but I also heard about Tyrone Blackburn done ran over Fat Joe's process server. So his ass is going up on the blog in the morning, okay? So when I get up in the morning, fully rested, I'm a write a quick story on Blackburn. I was like, "Not Blackburn ass out here." See, that's what happened. They be out here trying to extort people with these fake lawsuits and stuff. And then when people challenge them and sue them, they want to run and hit people. Why you running people over? Tyrone Blackburn is the same lawyer that's suing TD Jakes on behalf of that lying dude, Dwayne, who claims that Jakes pulled him and kissed him while he was walking outside of a home. I'm just like, y'all need to stop this stuff. So, inbox me your contact information. I got you, Nicholas. Nicholas, inbox me, bro. Just shoot me a DM on the page. So, yeah, exactly. Exactly. If we saying we going out to the club tonight and we driving to the club, we got the chance to turn around, right, and don't go to the club. You understand what I'm saying? But obviously, it seems like the car is taking people to the freak offs unwillingly, and yeah, labor, yes, but not forced. They got on those flights willing, yes. Listen, the porn stars do it every day. They fly each other out every day, men and women. They fly. I mean, they. This is what they do. You know, and it's all white women going out to Diddy. All like it's about 6 of them. The whole prosecution just white. I'm like, look at all these women. That's why they exaggerating this like that. Is because it's all women. They are the women who just believe a woman. Like even if she's lying, they're gonna believe her. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. All right, y'all. Peace. I'm going. Good night. Yeah, I got that, Coco. And you know what, Coco? It's so funny because I feel like when people put me on game on stuff, I start hearing it everywhere. And ever since you sent me that, you said something to me about that. They was talking about that today in court. It was so many. It was so many. And listen, check this out. Let me put this. Let me tell y'all this. Come here. So listen, the lead prosecutor. Okay, now do y'all know the former director of the FBI, James Comey? Remember, he put that 86, I believe it was 86-47 in the sand, and Trump opened up an investigation on him for allegedly threatening him. Him threatening the president, right? Well, check this out. The lead prosecutor on this case is the daughter of James Comey. Now, if Diddy do gets convicted, Trump already said he would take a look at the case. Being that Trump and James Comey hate each other, well, Trump don't like James Comey. Would you think, or would you say that it's possible that if it goes the way that Tisa Tell lies and then want it to go, that it would um I mean, do you I mean, y'all, it's just so much. It's just so much. How is it forced? Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. But do y'all think if it go their way that Trump would probably pardon Diddy because he hates Comey and Comey's daughter is the lead prosecutor on this case against Sean Diddy Combs? But if they really sit down and look at the case, it would be an easy pardon. But that's just my thoughts. Yeah. I didn't know that, y'all, because I don't be looking into the people like that, especially when they're not on my radar for a story. You know, Trump is very vindictive. And when you really look at the evidence in this case, I mean, this shit should have never made it to trial, you know. But anyways, y'all, I'm gone. Good night.